Welcome to the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things masonry while drinking an old fashioned. I'm Brian.
And I'm Russ.
Russ, who is the most iconic person from Wichita that you've ever met? You ever met Charles Koch?
I would say Charles Koch.
Yeah, he's probably up there.
I would say that's him.
Yeah. He's. I've met Frank and Dan Carney, the Pizza Hut founders. Mm-hmm. Tom Devlin, Rent-A-Center. We've met some folks. But so today, Russ and I, as you guys can tell when you see us on camera in person, we are just unbelievable athletes. We don't have to say it. You just look at us and say, holy hell, those guys are just built like athletes. So we decided that we can no longer be the most athletic person
on this podcast.
On the podcast. So we decided to bring in a brother, Korleone Young,
yes,
who... what was his former profession?
Basketball.
Yeah, in the NBA. So we're going to go grab Corleone. We're going to bring him here. We're going to talk a little bit about Masons and Corleone.
All right.
Okay, so we are back with Korleone Young, a Wichita native. Korleone, thanks for jumping on the podcast with Russ and I.
Thank you both for having me.
All right. So, on our podcast, we like to know more about the man and not just the Mason, right? So, who is Korleone Young, the man?
Who we asking? Are we asking me? Yeah. Or are we asking my neighbor? Or are we asking my wife?
I want to... there's some layers there.
Saying that because all of us have different sides to us.
No, it's like, are you asking, am I Brian the employer or Brian the Mason or Brian? Okay, you tell us in your own words who you think who do you want people to know Korleone Young is? Yeah. How about that?
Well, I'll tell you what.
That was interesting. We've never had this flipped on us.
When you meet that man, which you meet now, and thank you guys for having me again.
You bet.
You'll meet a man that is, first of all, blessed. I got a great circle. The circle makes me. I think some people don't realize a lot of what we put around us affects us. Mm-hmm. Makes us like kind of who we are, starting from the household. So I'm a hard-working man. Very loving, caring. I get a lot of misconception from being an athlete that he doesn't have that gentle side, but I would always like to inform people that I'm an only child. Mm-hmm. So my mother raised me and nurturing me. So there's a lot of sides to me. I would just like to say that I'm a man that is searching to be a better man, searching to always push other brothers of mine, whether they're in the craft or not, to be a better man and offer the resources to men to become better men. That's really Corleone now. And I like to always start off by teasing, saying, well, which Corleone? Because the athlete has a whole different resume.
That's a fair question. Right. The way you flipped it is fair.
He has a whole different resume, and so I like to live out of that person now.
Yeah. So you mentioned my wife. Wife? How long have you been married? Children?
Well, you know how it is. It's like this woman has been the woman forever.
Yeah. She's your girl.
Shoot, you put me on the spot now. Remember my anniversary.
Ha! This is what we do, boys. We say there's no trick questions.
Only a brother of mine in the fraternity I'm in could do me like that.
Right. We unintentionally did him dirty.
Remember, I'm a rookie on the team now. So
that's right. But we're not making him carry the duffel bags and doing the NBA rookie thing.
I've been with my wife 11 years.
11 years.
And she has been a friend of mine longer than that.
Okay.
She's like my best friend.
Yeah.
Because it always took me to not be able to either understand it and then learn it. And she was someone that helped me through that whole process. Yeah. Through the trial and error of life.
Yeah.
So I always like to give her a shout out.
No, you should. That's the having that person that you can count on. And
that deals with me, bro.
That knows our multiple personalities at times.
Her patience, her understanding.
And her name is? Stephanie, shout out to Stephanie, because I got to tell you, he fumbled a little bit, and it's only because he loves your girl. That's the only reason.
I was
why
counting on my fingers under the table.
I like it. I heard it. I just heard it clicking.
I said that Christmas, that Thanksgiving, that passed. Okay, we're pushing on that 8, 9. Okay.
I love it.
All right.
All
right. So Corleone, you have an interesting name. So is there? I heard that there may be an interesting story behind it. So.
It's a weird, it's a crazy story.
Yeah, so share that
birthday
if you
is
would.
New Year's Eve.
Okay.
A little personal information.
Okay.
And my mother was, of course, having me, natural childbirth, on New Year's Eve. So my mom has one sister. She is my aunt. She's still living. Rest in peace. My mom is no longer living.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So she's in the hospital. She calls my aunt, get here. You might want to get here fast. So my aunt gets there. Now, my aunt is dressed, ready to go out.
Right.
And if it was Old Town then, she's ready to hit Old Town.
Right, yeah.
And so she says, if I stay, you have to let me name him. So my aunt, she probably might not want me to say this, but she had a party favor in her bag. So she stayed and enjoyed the party there. They were watching The Godfather. And Santino Corleone came into play. In the movie, this is the first one they're showing the evolution of the family, and bam, there's Sonny. And so my aunt said, we're going to name him Santino Korleone Young. And so that's how I got my name.
There it is, from The Godfather.
Mom is laid up on the delivery bed on New Year's Eve. So that's marathon time. So
oh yeah,
I don't know, what other movie could we pick that had an interesting name that could have been playing at that time? Imagine if The Christmas Story, Ralphie.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, what would be my name? It just depends on what movie. Because my aunt was the one picking.
That
my
is
mom didn't
interesting.
name me. My aunt named me, so it's like, I always thank her for giving me, because it could have been a different movie.
That's pretty cool.
It could have been Lord of the Flies.
I don't
or
know
something.
if she was going with movies or what.
Right,
it could have been sports. Maybe if a sports could have been on an event.
Oh no, but you know what? I recently had heard the story, and to me, when I didn't even associate it with The Godfather, and I've seen The Godfather, because I've lived in Wichita 30 years, and to me, when Corleone Young, I didn't even associate with The Godfather because it is your name. I mean, it just doesn't fit anyplace else to me. So I
imagine this in school. Roll.
Oh, roll call.
Santino.
Oh no, that's right.
Then everyone's like, who's Santino?
That's
present, and you have to stand.
Yeah, that's.
I went by my second name.
I go by my middle name as well.
It's always that. Who's that? Who's that?
Oh, I'm gonna ask you both. Now I'm not interviewing them, but I can ask.
Flip it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Does your family call you by your first name?
Never.
No.
Never.
Mother, father.
My mother when I was young, and I would get in trouble.
Only my grandparents.
My mom would use my full name.
Right.
When I was in trouble.
Yeah.
Other than that. Yeah.
Okay, so we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
For everybody when you're in deep stuff.
Yeah.
Santino Corleone. Yeah. Mine is like stretching it out.
It's like, and we're wondering, okay, what did I just get busted for? Yes. Okay, so you played basketball at East. Then you went to. Did you go to Hargrave?
Hargrave.
You went to Hargrave to play. So talk to us about that experience. So you are a household name at East, and then you go to Hargrave's a prep school, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so
military prep school.
Okay, so I've seen some photos of me. You look sharp as all get out in these uniforms.
Yeah, so it's a national military prep school. What that school does is it brothers with VMI, the Citadel, the Naval Academy, even West Point, and it fosters the mindset of cadet because the U.S. military puts officers in play. Officers, we have to learn like the chain of command. So West Point produces officers. Those guys are going to call shots. Those guys are going to make big decisions and logistically. So Hargrave was a place where you went and learned those things in that manner. Then there's a flip. Sports. The sports there is a really good advantage because what happens is popular now, it's popular for kids to prep and to have what's called a prep year.
Transitional year. Yeah, gotcha.
And this was all coming into play when I was younger. So as a junior at East, I was thinking prep my junior year, prepping for college early. Mm-hmm. The whole concept of prep school back this way, West, is unheard of.
Right.
Now, we have private schools and military schools, but no one stays for a fifth year, what you call the postgraduate year.
Right.
So as a junior, I went there to do two things: increase my GPA and increase my test scores. Statistically, the SAT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we could go
Yes.
for D1, so you didn't have to go the JUCO route.
Well, I had, and this is the thing, leaving East, I had pretty good GPA. It was the test scores. Mm-hmm. So at Hargrave, with the smaller class size, with the more attention to detail to each student one-on-one.
Right.
Now you're able to get the proper ACT prepping. Like some ACT prepping classes is like a lecture hall. It's not too much one-on-one.
Right.
They talk about a lot of ways and a lot of the, what do you call them? Like little
your study habits
and the little pointers and tips on how to take that test.
Right.
But as far as answering those questions right or wrong, that comes through a process.
Right.
Yeah, fair.
But how you take the test, there is a way.
Right.
And there's a strategic way that the student must know, and the athlete must learn it. And so that's what Hargrave entailed altogether.
Okay.
The discipline, the academic curriculum that was needed for me to push forward to go to college, which I had intended to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So you went from high school and you jumped directly to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us about that decision. What went into that?
Well, I went to Hargrave and they pushed me in a number of ways, but they pushed you mentally. And so the mental whole change of getting up at 6 a.m, every morning, 5:30 really, to a reveille, going downstairs in formation, marching to breakfast. We ran the school just like the Naval Academy and just like West Point. So what it did was it pushed me. That pushed me to be physically stronger. I put on 15 pounds of muscle. I got up to 225. Of course, the academic side. Those things all played in. And I had originally intended to go to Georgetown. That is where I was going to sign. I took my college visits, went to UConn, went to Arkansas. Shouts out to Roy Williams. It was at KU, but we were kind of understanding the news that he wanted to go home.
Yeah.
And if he was going to be my coach, I knew it wasn't going to be for like a year or two. And I didn't want to go to KU and not play for him.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I will come and stay home.
Makes sense.
And I went to Arkansas. And one day, I just was getting close to the McDonald's All-American game. And my mom was flying to Virginia to watch it. And scouts had been coming, watching our practices. I had been doing well the whole year. We won what's considered like a national championship of the prep schools in the nation. And it was just an opportunity. It's kind of like when people ask me how did it happen, it just happened. It's like someone said, hey, look, you want to do this?
There's an opportunity.
I think you can do this. And the opportunity, the door just opens. Yeah. And so we weighed on it. And then it ultimately came down to me. My mom and I were really close, but she allowed me to, she said, this is whatever you want to do. Now, I had people around me with advice of what I should do. And it may have been 70-30. Go to the league, 70, maybe 30. You could go to college. And then there's the flip where you can always go to college.
Well, let me set this up, though. Let me take you back to him in high school because I've seen him since he's been in high school. You might have narrower shoulders now than you did then.
Probably.
Because he was a man-child.
Probably out of shape, because I am out of shape now. He just called it out.
No. I'm talking about the width of the shoulders. I'm
trying to suck my
No. Listen, he stood up. He's leaner than us, that's for sure. But he just had these wide shoulders. He just looked like he was ready. Now, never playing in the league before. Looking and getting there's probably a totally different thing. But he passed the initial sniff test of holy hell, he has to frame. And now if he goes out to Hargrave and fills in that with another 15 pounds, that's so I could see.
That was the aspect. When I went to the NBA pre-draft camp is where they combine all of it's like the combine.
Right.
And so that's what is NBA combine. That was the number one attribute that I showed, is that I could physically play with those grown men. I mean, because this is where everybody stays in school for a year. My draft class was with my boy Rafe and Scott Pollard.
Rafe LaFrance, Scott Pollard.
And then that's kind of where I was like, man, I wish they would stay in school. If they would have stayed in school one more year, I probably would have went to KU.
Okay.
To play with Rafe and play with Scott.
Yeah.
Jacques was leaving.
Jacques Vaughn.
He already had left.
Yep.
Paul was a freshman, going to be a sophomore.
He was sneaky too.
If Paul would have stayed one more year. See, all of us were in the same draft class.
Yeah.
If I go to KU, we're all on the same Big 12 championship. National championship.
Probably national championship, yeah.
National championship team.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's just the body sizes of these guys.
I always look back and I say this. People say, well, would you have done it different? God, man. To be blessed with my life, it would be like a selfish thing to say to somebody that has just been in, not all of it, but just wish of the opportunities I've had from playing in all the countries I played in. I would not change a thing.
Okay.
One thing I do understand is that, though, the timing of things, maybe I was just a little bit before my time.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point, because that wasn't. So you talked about playing all over. Where, you're going to forget something. Where all have you played across the United States and the world? Forget, like, on a professional status.
In the United States?
All of the above, yeah.
Australia.
Okay.
That's the first country. Russia for 2 years. China for 5 years. I spent a little time in Italy. I played in Israel. Am I missing one?
You actually played in Saratov in Russia?
Rostov.
Yeah.
In Saratov my first year.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually been there.
Yeah.
So
Old Orthodox Russian city town now.
Yeah.
Got a lot of stories about Saratov.
Oh man, imagine it now.
What were you doing in business?
It was a opportunity just for a trip. So
A trip, wow.
yeah.
I mean,
it was really cool.
Very traditional area.
Yeah.
When I left there, I went to Rostov.
Yeah.
The second year. And, Russia is Russia. And so, like, I was glad I left Saratov because it's one of the older post-communism, after.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money in Rostov. Yeah. There's a lot of people that own a lot of teams. So our team was owned by a pretty much gangster.
Right. Very modern. Felt modern. Yeah.
So
the oligarchs.
Yeah.
Anyway, those travels will help me with the craft a lot.
Yeah.
To work with people from all different races, religions, walks of life.
Okay.
Yeah. So of all those places that you've had an opportunity to play and spend time in, what's your favorite?
Man. Boy, I would be scared to make it home if I said Russia because with what's going on. Because at that time, my honesty was the only thing I could live on.
Right.
Being an honest man.
Yeah.
And that is one of the best times, those 2 years that I've spent.
Was in Russia.
Playing basketball overseas. Yeah. Was in Russia.
I've heard
not just
that.
the basketball.
But just everything.
I live day to day.
Yep. Connor Frankamp and Ron Baker have said the same things.
I never had any issue.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, it's a different time also.
And like I say, it was a different time. This is in 04, 05, 05.
Okay.
Putin's fresh in. He just came in like 99. Right. So it was a different culture and climate.
Yeah.
Totally.
Wow, yeah.
I think I was there in 17. And you find that they're wanting to live their life just like everybody else.
Yeah, the leadership somehow.
That's a different.
All these jackasses in leadership all across the country, including our own at times, the last 10, 20 years, it's a reflection of us as Americans. Like, well, we're not all like that.
No matter where you go,
yeah.
It's like in the scriptures, there's nothing new under the sun. It's the same everywhere you go. You just have to uncover some of those things.
Yeah.
And so, China was nice.
Yeah.
Maybe the hardest to play basketball and adapting to the culture politically would have been Israel.
Politically would have been Israel?
That was the hardest. I didn't stay.
Yeah, I don't know that I could do Israel. So what do you do? So you're doing some stuff with youth basketball now.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Talk to us about this. Give us the abridged version.
So I have one and done skills training, elite skills training.
Okay.
And what I did was, with the help of, I combined social skills with basketball fundamentals.
Okay.
Combining the two. It's something that a lot of coaches, trainers, it just goes over your head, because his ability to advance athletically is only going to be due to his strength socially. Mm-hmm. And that's they got to come together. If they don't come together, you have an athlete that's really good, but he doesn't have the social skills. In one of those, in that small circle, you could be this much of the pie, but that much of it is very useful. So I like the mentor. I got into mentoring. I went through depression.
Yeah.
Myself as an athlete. When I retired,
Well, because that was your identity.
I was like Forrest coming home.
Yeah.
To mama, I didn't understand what else was inside of me to push myself. I only had did one thing my whole life. I knew that I did it well. I knew that people enjoyed me doing it.
Right.
And it was my job.
And sometimes you felt like it was your only identity.
And my only way of knowing myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I knew myself as an athlete. But then the retirement, meeting the brothers I have now, from Sunflower, from Home Lodge, from Albert Pike, from up into Topeka, where Brother Shiley, Brother Nelson, Reader, just everybody.
Yeah.
This is what it does for you. So everybody asks, what made you want to? Well, you can see. It changed my life.
We talked about that a lot on the podcast. They think Masons, they kind of have that cultish feel like, well, how are you all doing this with him? You've known this guy 2 years and we've been boys for 30. It's just different. It's just a different.
I came in and met people in 2 months, 2 weeks. And literally, garage door openers. Here's a code, brother. If you ever need to get in, this is what you. I said, what?
Yeah.
It shocked me.
Right.
I tell my wife, like, man, this is a little different.
Yeah.
And it just never changed. It got more intense. Ron Bowens, I would like to call him like one of my Masonic mentors.
Yeah.
Ken Butts.
God, Ken's a great dude.
Man, Ken is the best.
Yeah.
Mike Fritz, all the brothers is the best.
Yeah.
The best, but I'm saying, you know how it is.
Yeah.
You have sometimes unique relationships.
You do.
With certain individuals, because they just sometimes say, hey, brother, come on.
Yeah, I got you.
And they take you and just start showing you, teaching you how to use the tools.
Right, and it's
I'm sorry.
No. I think you're absolutely right, and I think when we first came in, that door kind of opened, and I'm a skeptical person too. It's like, what's your angle? You know what I mean? It's just like, what's the angle? And it's not an unfair thought to have until you're like, okay, they're good. What's it? Probably like coming on the podcast.
Well, you just wonder like me, like why?
Why?
And sometimes you say, why me?
Yeah.
And sometimes as
sometimes
brothers,
questions
we feel
is
like
why
we're
not?
not worthy enough. But then some people see something else in us.
Yep.
And at the lodge, I just opened myself up.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing else that I could do to move forward.
Yeah.
Was allow people to know who I was.
Yeah.
From playing basketball, from my trials and tribulations as an athlete.
Your own narrative. Your own narrative.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And what I wanted when I heard to take a man and make him better. When I heard that, I said, who would want that? What man would want that? Honestly,
that's a fair
and
question.
I'm not doing it to pitch it out there to those that need to ask to be one, but you should definitely ask yourself, why wouldn't I want to take one of the most unique opportunities that may come in my life to make my life better?
Right.
Yeah.
And so with my athletes that I work with, they understand who I am. They understand what I do. They understand what I believe in.
Yeah.
What I follow, what I bleed and die for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now them seeing that, they understanding their purpose really as athletes.
Yep.
And see, our purpose as athletes is not just entertaining.
Right.
But it is to embrace people, to inspire people,
You have a platform.
and to motivate people to come be a part of something bigger than themselves, whether it's on the basketball team, the church.
Yeah.
But the lodge itself, to me, since I have been a part of it, and the fraternity itself from brothers all over the world that I've never met, that I do believe if I reached, because I know they're going to extend theirs to me.
Right.
If I extend mine, then they will do everything that we all know that we took an obligation to do.
Yeah.
And so I really do take that to heart. And it kind of is fun. It's fun helping people. As an athlete, I'm going to say this real fast.
Yeah. No, it's just as you, man.
You always get, I mean, as an athlete, everybody from the trainer, the coach, I mean, it's just you walk in and then everything is about you. Mm-hmm. But when you learn to truly serve, some of us have been in part of churches and been in our church, but serving the church is different. Mm-hmm. It takes a total different commitment. That commitment is just as unique and just as vital to an individual's livelihood. And some men is like, oh man, I'm doing just fine. I got, every day, and they say, well, what about your life's change that just makes it so much better? And when I tell them in here, see, then they say, you have to have a happiness here first.
Mm-hmm. People think they should be able to see it, and it starts here.
Some people thinks that you come and show them the property you bought, or the new office space that you expanded to, or you only tell, why is the good of the order only got to be a raise that I got at work?
Right,
brothers, anything for the good of the order. It should be every 2 weeks how you served somebody. And that's just really my mission in Home Lodge and Sunflower, but North Star, all my brothers have welcomed me to the lodges, and whatever lodge I'm a part of, even if you're not a part of a lodge, this is where one of my main goals is to try to unite the lodges more.
Mm-hmm. Love a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
Really. Because through my organization, that's how I feel every lodge can grow. Mm-hmm. Because these guys are looking for homes. Once one of my athletes told me, well, he's going to go to a fraternity first, college. I said, no. You need to come here first. Once you come here first, you won't need to go nowhere else. You can enjoy your college years, meet some brothers, and hey, you guys got relationships for a lifetime. But when you're ready to get to true business and changing your life, you can only come one place to do it. So we're gearing up, which was one of my missions, was to bring some athletes to the light. Yeah. I think that it helped them financially while they're playing basketball, the discipline. I think that it helped their career. Yeah. They'll meet people from all over that athletes can really, truly build their own teams. Imagine if I would have knew you two when I was playing. Yeah. From whatever angle you would help me, whatever angle you can help me.
And looking out for you, right?
And, just, looking out for each other, because it would be about you two being served also. Right,
right. Me. Fair.
Talk to us about your book.
Man, 6-year process, opening up.
What's the name of the book, first of all?
One and Done.
Is One and Done.
Okay.
Amazon?
I took the name, yeah.
It's on Amazon? Okay. We'll stick a link below.
I'm going to be putting a website out because the book's really intimate. Mm-hmm. So I don't want people to have to go to Amazon. I want them, they can get it from me. Okay. So if I'm able to, can I give it to you guys in the next maybe 72 hours? Yeah, and then we get it out to those people.
You do it. We're gonna have that, and if anything, what we'll do, we'll figure out a way to put a way to contact Corleone directly.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yes. Yeah, because we don't want to run the middle, but and at the end of the
day, you can run the middle.
No, we don't want to, because here's the thing.
I owe these guys.
No, you don't owe us anything. That's a great thing about Masonry. The cool thing about the book, Amazon's a great place where everyone goes, but if you're going to buy the book, you might as well go to the source. And there's a lot of reasons why you do that. I like to cut out the middleman a lot. We do a lot of business, and there's a lot of middlemen.
Cut the middleman out.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, we definitely want to do that. But your book is intimate, and it talks really about your whole journey, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? Fair?
Yeah.
I mean, the real life.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
If you're going to help someone, you have to tell them some of your deepest, not secrets, but vulnerable points in your life. When you hit like, hey, because them seeing you saying it now. Okay, so you evaluated it. Mm-hmm. That's one of the main things. Is like what we say, man up. But it's just evaluating. Hey, look, I have a problem. Maybe I need help, or maybe I need someone to talk to, and then moving forward from that.
Isn't it easier now than it was 20 years ago? Because when you talk about depression, we'll talk about, oh man, I feel 20 years ago, it's like rub some dirt on it, man.
Tough it out,
Tough
man.
it out.
Yeah, tough it out.
But now it's
Suck
like
it
it's
up.
real life.
Suck it up.
Right. And I think that those are the real conversations. And I'd love to say, oh, it's only Masons that do that. But I do think as a society in the last 20 years, especially when it comes to mental health, you think of mental health 20 years ago, it's like, what does that mean? They're crazy?
Thank
No.
you.
Right?
See, that's what it meant. And
That-
see, that C word. Everybody ran from that.
I think you're crazy when you bottle it up and you don't say, hey, I'm feeling some sort of way right now.
Right.
Right.
So,
and that's reality.
Well, like you said, that's that mentality that you, and there was nothing against the people who raised us.
Sure.
Because
they knew.
their lack of knowledge and awareness just wasn't there.
Yep.
Technology is so advanced now that you can help yourself if you want to.
Yeah.
And every tool is there at the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
In so many good ways. Now, you cipher through the information on the internet.
Right.
But today, I feel that it's more accepted to talk to people about your problems.
I agree.
Sometimes the answer is suck it up, but most of the time there's more to it.
Especially if it's you. Like, oh, I'm upset because I got a B on a paper. So, oh, what could you have done differently?
Yeah.
But on the mental side of it, for sure.
Yes.
So, all right, you've known Russ and I just for a little bit. I need your honest opinion. So, your first impression. The two of us were playing a game of horse, and then the two of us, we were playing a game of one-on-one. Who wins and why? Don't look at the shoes yet.
In the last 12 months, we did this.
Okay.
Today, right now.
It's 2 games. So it's horse. Who wins in horse between the two of us, and then who wins in one-on-one between the two of us?
Just do this.
Okay.
Show me your follow-through.
Oh, mine's nice because I'm a tight elbow and mine
it.
snaps.
Okay, this is there. I'm sure.
See, he's a lefty.
Ooh, Southpaw has traditionally been known to have touch and soft touch.
Okay.
In the basketball game, guarding the Southpaw is hard. It's kind of hard. And when he can utilize being a lefty in the game.
Okay.
Just due to some angles and the way you open up and shoot.
Okay.
Whew, man, you know what? We're going to skip the one-on-one. We'll come back to horse. One-on-one. How tall are you?
5'9".
How tall are you?
Taller than 5'9".
Are you going to use your body?
You're going to have to.
Okay. Are you going to use your speed?
You can use all. I'll just jump over him, but that's a whole nother thing.
Now, nobody mentioned length. Because basketball, you can't go through him. Sometimes you can't go around him. Sometimes you got to go over him. You know what? I'm taking him in horse, and I'm taking you in one-on-one.
And it's flip-flop.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you why. His confidence is, oh yeah, I'm a lot taller than 5'8", 5'9". And one-on-one.
I said just taller. I didn't say a lot. Okay. Play it back.
I added that. You're right.
He
Okay.
did.
Oh, he's like the commercial. No, I didn't say that.
Challenge flash.
And then they come in and say, hey, challenge it with those flags.
Oh my gosh.
But the reason I say it is because in height, sometimes the height can be a disadvantage in one-on-one.
Oh, if they open up those ribs.
Yeah.
And
You
then
open up those
horse,
ribs.
a lot of times the height is an advantage. Because I used to just do this all the time. Stand under the goal, like this is the goal here, the backboard's here.
Yep.
Hold the ball
just
like
to reach through it.
just
Yeah.
flip it.
So we played a game. The lefty in horse, he kind of worked me over.
But he kept trying to shoot right, so I would shoot right.
Oh, yeah.
y'all were shooting opposite ends?
Yeah.
Well, no. He would call.
I would call right-handed.
Oh,
and so the lefty had to go
had
left.
to go right.
But I could.
But yeah, so
I could shoot right-handed
the lefty got me one-on-one. Not even that.
Do you write with your left hand?
I do.
Too?
Yeah.
So you do everything?
I do everything with my left hand.
Have you ever heard how a lot of lefties that write with their left hand, play basketball with their right, shoot with their right, kick with their right?
I had some buddies that did everything else right except
teammates like that.
My brother-in-law, who would have been in your same era, he played at campus, Donnie Lemons. He was a true ambidextrous. Yeah, he went to Barton.
That name too.
Yeah, true ambidextrous kid.
You're going back.
We're going back.
Most right-handers just won't use their left, and left-handed people tend to get challenged to use their right.
That's fair.
You learn more.
Everything's made for right-handed people.
Yes, everything.
All right, so we're gonna jump around here a little bit.
Right.
So, when it comes to basketball, who is your GOAT? All time, your GOAT. Your one guy. Who's your GOAT? Because it's going to come in for the most important question of the day.
You know what? It's nothing to think about, because I look at the history of basketball.
Okay.
Now we're going somewhere with this now.
Okay.
The man with 13 rings. And there's a lot of
You know who it is?
forth. That's Russell.
Yeah,
Bill
Bill
Russell.
Russell.
Rest in peace.
Recently this year.
Just recently.
The GOAT, I think we have to, because we put all these different statistical check marks that we need to go back and forth. We
Jordan,
need to go
LeBron, Kobe,
We need to go an era in the GOATs. So we'll go old school.
Bill Russell.
Yeah.
We're going to go Bill Russell. I will go Will Chamberlain, but it's just tough and hard when he's just a winner. You can't, I don't care. You can argue what you want.
Yeah.
The winner, that man won.
Yeah.
He won
at the end of the day, you're measured on rings.
Tough times in Boston.
Yeah.
Tougher in the Deep South.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was a man of integrity.
Yeah.
He was a man of understanding.
He fought through some stuff.
And number one thing is forgiveness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a GOAT.
Yeah.
That's fair.
We'll jump to Jordan Magic era. I'm a Magic Johnson fan.
I like a tall guard.
But I love Michael Jordan because it's hard to intelligently just find reasons to say he's not the greatest of all time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Jordan is and will always until, the game changes to a whole different concept of basketball.
Yeah.
But the way they played it then versus now, my only argument with not being able to say that one of my closest peers, LeBron, little brother, is not the GOAT is because that 80s, 90s, and 2000, 2001 with the taking away of hand checking. The game is played differently.
Right.
So we have to give the benefit of the doubt to the people that are playing it during that different era.
Yeah.
He would have adapted because he's got a big body.
LeBron's got a big body.
He's got Anthony Mason body.
So he could play in those different eras.
He would just have to adapt his game.
You would have had to, thank you, because the way you had, at that size, you remember the Davis twins? Mm-hmm. Just think of every night, every NBA team, the power forwards. Just start with the power forwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a fight.
Yeah.
Lonzo Mornings, Mutombo, Patrick Ewing.
Get into
David
Shaq.
Robinson.
You got to cross
Shaq.
into Shaq.
Yeah.
Out west, Lonnie Divac. You had Olin Ponelise. You had Kevin Duckworth and Jerome K.
Well, the smooth ones then came into Tim Duncan, where he wasn't a real physical guy, but he could stroke. He'd pull you out to the outside and cause you problems.
7-footers. That's probably the greatest front court in NBA history. You can't find too much better center and forward.
Yeah.
So Jordan's your number one of all time.
Yes, sir.
Take out the air.
I gotta say Jordan. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Makes
that
sense.
was a long answer, but
no, that's
Jordan.
fair. It's fair. I could do that too because I'm an NBA guy. So, all right. So it's you. This is the most important question of the podcast. One must go. So you've got Corleone and Jordan. Okay. I've got 4 folks up on the screen. I've got Ron Baker. I've got Perry Ellis. I've got Maurice Evans. Guys, don't sleep on Maurice. Don't sleep on Maurice. And then you've got Connor Frankamp. You've got to pick 3 more to be on your team.
Out of that four, right
Out of
there.
that four, who goes and why? I think it's an easy decision.
Mo is coming because that's my boy. We're from the same
Yeah.
block. We're from the same everything.
And those who don't remember, his cousin D'Angelo, don't sleep on him. No. He would run you over.
D'Angelo Evans, besides Barry Sanders, shouts out to all of our new, young, Bryce Brown, and all of our young, dreamers, running backs. D'Angelo's the greatest running back besides Barry Sanders.
No argument.
Statistically and physically.
No argument.
You just can't.
He was a freak.
But out of those four there,
who goes?
I'm going down the list.
All
Bryce Evans comes because I need his toughness. I need his intelligence. He was a shooter and he could defend his butt off.
Yep. So we're keeping Maurice.
I'm going to jump up. That kid up there wearing 31 from Western Kansas.
Yep. Ronnie Baker.
Is a tough cowboy. He just don't wear a cowboy hat all the time.
Yep.
He's a real cowboy.
Yep.
Tough. Will shoot it out with you. He's somebody you want to go in the dark alley with.
Yep. Okay.
I got to have him.
Okay.
I'm going to go down to Frank Kemp. Frank Kemp is a great shooter. Besides Allah, Ricky Ross, my mentor, that's in the book, I would probably put him as one of the greatest shooters this city has ever seen. In today's game, with the statistical attributes of height and the position changing, it's just hard to put him over Ron Baker or Maurice Evans. Mm-hmm. Now, him and Perry Ellis are from the same generation.
Mm-hmm. They are.
And they'll say, oh, man, because they calls me Unc because I'm old. So,
right.
Why is Unc doing this? When they tell me I got to pick three, you know what I'll do? I'll take half of each one of them two and make a whole. So now I went and just did something that nobody's ever done.
It's cheating, but I like it.
I took the height of Perry Ellis and took the shooting ability and the ball handling ability from Connor Frank Kemp and combined one player. Yeah. All four of those players are too great to leave out one.
Yeah.
I love them all four.
It's tough. I gave you a tough one.
I got personal relationships with those individuals.
Yeah.
So I couldn't. They know. They're probably going to be listening to this and I'm waiting on him. I couldn't.
Well, I'm going to give the answer.
I'm going to need a shot at the end of the game. And I can't leave out Connor.
I made this one tough to you.
Somebody's going to come down the lane and Ron Baker, bro, he tough. He going to take the charge.
Yeah. I could have made it really tough on you.
He made it too hard. But if I have to follow the rules and somebody say, look, you're going to go by the sword if you don't pick one.
Right.
In today's game, with them shooting all the threes they do, because, I'm 6'8" and a half, with a 7'4" wingspan.
Yeah.
So, that's my little brother.
Yeah.
All the attributes Perry have, I have.
Right.
Maybe then a little more and then some. So I have to take him out
because of your makeup of your team.
Because, I can't. Me and him would be just battling for all the. Right. He needs the ball 20 times and I need it 20 times. Maurice is a great shooter. I can put Frank Kemp at point. I could put him at 2. I could put Ron Baker at point 2. And this is how tough he is. He can play small forward.
Yeah.
What he did with getting to the league is like a shocker. It's like probably the greatest shocker pro story ever.
Yeah. It's good. Not that for a Kansas kid, for sure.
He knows.
Yeah.
Looking in the mirror, I don't even get an offer.
Yep.
So from that point forward, he's like, you know what?
I got something to prove.
I've got something to prove.
Yeah. He could have played Division I football as well. He
that's
was
what I heard.
One of those guys. Yeah.
I heard he was an Evan, like Evan.
Mm-hmm. Evan Wessel. You want a tough kid. Evan Wessel.
I was talking toughness now. I didn't bring now. You could put Evan. You could put another 4. We could just keep putting 8. Just keep putting players.
You put all of those young men in an alley, and Evan Wessel's there. Now, Evan Wessel might come out of that alley.
Put Evan on this team right here. Let's just do that. Let's just say, Corleone, you don't need to take anybody away. Who would we add? We just said his name. We won't pick another name. Let's add Evan. Evan to this team.
Another Wichita kid.
Perry and him with the way they play, they don't have to have a true center. Perry, if you guys are going to rebound by committee, because we know Ron Baker's going to rebound.
Yep.
Evan is going to rebound. He's going to get you 10 a game. He's a matchup problem being 6'4", 6'5", power forward, small forward. A bigger guy can't guard him. And really, Maurice Evans, I mean, he's probably the hardest matchup, man, in the city's history.
Yeah, he's tough.
Because he's so big.
He's
and
strong. Yeah.
But he's 6'6".
Yeah.
So he can dribble, shoot. I mean, I used to have a time guarding him.
Yeah.
Because he was so good. He's so fast.
Yeah, Maurice and my brother-in-law would always play. They played together.
Right.
They'd play on some teams around the city. So
what they would do was, remember, they would play with Fiegel. They played in the summer league. Mm-hmm. They were playing in the summer league. I think didn't Stan used to play in the summer league?
He did.
With Collegiate.
He did.
He didn't play with.
He was
Minnesota.
young though. He was one of the younger ones. Yeah.
See, he would always, and so I think that's what we need to do as we close. And if I can say one thing.
Yeah.
I came into the craft because I want to bridge gaps and open doors for people also. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I see in my push with everything I do at my camps is to bring more exposure to those that don't get it.
Fair.
I mean, honestly, everyone would appeal that the city would get more. No, we need to rurally. I played with good kids when I was young. Clayton died. He's from Rose Hill, tough. But what happens is the opportunity and exposure. Mm-hmm. Training is so state of the art now. Mm-hmm. If a lot of those guys, so what I'm basically saying is, what I want to do is, like with the lodges, is bring the unity into the lodges together just through events. Mm-hmm. In my last camp, I had North Star, Pyramid, Sunflower, Home Lodge. They came together, and we sponsored those kids. I think that once we show the world what we really do, people have a bad concept of us as Masons, and sometimes it does upset me.
Yeah.
Now, I get upset a little easy because I still got the power forward in me.
Right.
But when you are for the greater of good, so everybody deserves a chance.
Yeah.
And I keep bringing up social media as such a good thing, but it's the worst thing that could have happened for us as brothers, as Masons, because what it does is it exposes false negative news.
Right.
Would you
argue though it also gives us a chance to quickly resolve it though?
But then it does.
Yeah. It cuts both ways.
It does give us a chance to come and you said resolve it. But I just want to say this. I'm proud to be a Mason.
Yeah.
100% every day. I don't wear this shirt every day, but I love to let the world know that I'm a part of something
bigger than myself.
That's bigger than me, and that it pretty much is bigger than itself because it never thinks about itself.
Well, cheers to that.
Yes.
Thanks for watching the good old